All right, I think we're all set.
Always.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Karen, and I'd like to thank you all for joining us in today's webinar. Why are we having a webinar today? Mainly because we want to walk you through our all-new PayTabs dashboard. We call it PT2. And we would like to, of course, address or answer any dashboard features and functions related questions that you may have. And as you come across, as you think of any questions, do feel free to post them in the chat channel, and I will go through them after I have given the overview. All right, and another agenda, another purpose of this webinar is we, of course, want to help and ensure that you are able to transact as soon as possible. All right, so welcome to PayTabs 2. I am now going to start by playing this video in 3, 2, and 1.
Really important we're completely transparent with one another. We need to send a message.
So, most likely every one of you, we have a background. Can someone please, all right, thank you. All right, so some of you may already have seen the PT2 dashboard, and you might be probably wondering why we have to migrate from PT1 to PT2. It's simple. Our new dashboard is an enhanced and all new dashboard that will help you process your payments, and it is also designed to enhance your customer experience and hopefully streamline your payment processes. Another one of the popular feature of these dashboard is to basically to be able for you to customize your logos and to share the payment links via social media platforms. It could be it could be Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, you can send the link via SMS, which was already present in the previous dashboard. And this time you can also share the payment link via QR code aside from email. All right, the dashboard is very responsive. It is designed to work with mobile and PCs and tablets. And another thing, which is my personal favorite in this, in terms of PT2 dashboard, is that you now are able to basically have multiple profiles in one MID. So what do I mean by that? So for example, most of our customers have multiple businesses. In the previous system, they have to create multiple MIDs to be able to facilitate payment. So if you have 10 businesses, this would also mean that you would have 10 credentials. And this time you can just log in using one user ID, and you can keep adding profiles as you expand your business. So let me just share with you right now a screen to show you basically on how you would navigate the all new system. So typically when you write paytabs.com in the URL, it would take you to the screen. I hope is everyone seeing my screen? Can someone please confirm? Okay, I would take that as a yes. Okay, yes. So all right, so this is the login page. Ultimately, once you click login, it would then give you an option to either log into your old dashboard or immediately go to PT2. All right, so you enter the country where you are in. I would log in the UAE. All right, for some reasons, some merchants already have with PT2, but they still don't registered email that you would like to use, and your mobile phone, and of course your position, and you register as usual. So let me go back to the previous dashboard, and now I will log in as a merchant because I already have an account with PayTabs. All right, so I hit sign in. Okay, just 1 second. Yeah, please bear with me. The joys of working from home. All right, so now this is the dashboard. Once you have signed in, it would take you to the homepage. And in the homepage, it would give you an overview of your latest transactions from recent to oldest. And of course, it will show you the transactions today, the sales today in amount and in the currency that you are processing, and the sales for the current month, basically. And if you want to know the details of that, you simply click that, and it would take you through the transactions. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to homepage. I can see that we have chats. Please do feel free. Once you have questions, write them down, and I will go through them shortly. All right, so now this is the overview of your transactions. You may see that when at some point you will have some sort of error, and you might want to know the reason behind it. We would always ask you for a transaction reference, which is the transaction ID. And when we ask you for such information, this is what we're referring to, the transaction number. And then if you want to know the status of your transaction, and then you can simply refer to this on the far right. It would give you these statuses. A means authorized, D means declined, and E means there's an error. And we would find out the reasons for these. Right, so let's click first on the authorized transactions. Okay, so this tells you that this is a test, a successful test transaction, and then the amount. This is your profile ID, the amount, the status, the authorization code, and the payment method, as well as the customer details. All right, so now let's check what's the difference between A and D. As I've said earlier, D means declined transactions. So you simply expand that if you want to know the reasons why it's declined. And this is very good. This is a very good feature because in the past, whenever there are transactions that have been declined, our valued merchants would always ask, what is the reason? Why my transactions are getting declined? Now you don't have to do that. Of course, you're always more than welcome to ask us. However, it's there for you to view. You simply just look for the response code, and it would tell you that this is error 305, and 305 means the CVV, or the 3-digit number on the card, has been entered incorrectly. So now you can plan ahead. You can either, from a merchant point of view, from a business owner point of view, you can contact your customers. And by the way, Karen, I can see that the transaction has been declined. For example, you may try to enter the card number, so you can build that rapport with your customer because you have more information. As they say, the more you know, the better it is. All right, so let's expand a transaction with an error. All right, so this tells you as well, this is really good as well, because then it would tell you that the response code is this, and what does it mean? It would indicate that it is an invalid card number. Okay, perfect. And now I'm just gonna go to profile. All right, so remember earlier when I said that you have one MID, and then you can keep expanding and adding profiles as your business expands. Here it would tell you how many profiles you have. So you as a business owner, you can have an access at a group level. Just one moment. And then it would give you all the profiles that the user is linked to. Okay. And if you, for developers, you don't have to share the same access to everyone anymore, because you can assign a developer's access, and they would simply be able to see the developer's the developers panel of the dashboard, and the transactions so that they can do the tests. Okay. All right, so this is how you change your profile. You click on the organizational chart, which you have seen right here. Expand that and click on the profile that you would like to view. All right, so this tells you as well that this particular profile, each profile is assigned to a URL. So what's the advantage of that? So for example, you have a shop, you have an online store in Shopify, and you intend to sell in France, in different parts of the world, and you can have Shopify.fr or Shopify.us. You can then relate, or you can then link each profile into a unique URL or website. So that's another advantage of PT2. All right, so remember when I also mentioned earlier that you can assign specific roles and accesses to different teams, departments. You can do that by clicking on the team panel. You can add, let's add a new one just for demonstration purposes. So I would add my VP here, our vice president. So if ever you want to escalate, this is that's him. Okay, you save, and then that person that you're intending to send an invite, you will then get a link that is valid for 24 hours and assign the role. Let's say I'll do a developer role. You can decide which profile that a person can view. If you choose any, that means this person can view all of the profiles attached to your business. But for this, for example, I want to assign specific profile, and then what do I want to assign to him? Test, I want him to have live, to be able to void transaction for testing purposes, refund, capture, new sales, maybe not that one, invoice, he doesn't need to, because generally I would assign this to customer support, for example. And maybe transaction notes, no need. So submit, and then that's it, as simple as that. And then you will see all of the pending invitations right here. You can even resend if you need. And then that's it. Now we can move on to transaction panel. All right, so this gives you the overview of your transactions. All right, so this gives you the overview of the transaction, and you can search. If you want to be specific, you can do a quick search using the card, ID, email, transaction reference, and authorization code, service reference. And then if you want to do an advanced search, simply switch. If you remember the title, generally, in my experience, I would normally do an advanced search if I want to look for a specific transaction that took place on a specific date. So it's there for you. The flexibility is there for you. And then once you got the hit, you can either decide to export it on Excel or CSV, as you wish. All right. So now that you have, now that you are aware mostly on how to navigate home panel, profile, teams, and transaction, if you're using a regular pay page, then you can start the transaction business as usual. If you have special integrations, this is useful for your developers. And here you will have an option to either take the payments using your own form or manage form, or if you want to do an integration using one of our ready plugin or pre-built integrations, we support Magento, OpenCart, PrestaShop, Shopify, WooCommerce, Xero. We're going to add more, but this is what we have to start with. And if you don't see any integrations any integrations or API that's not there, you can do it by integrating with us by API. So using this link. So once you expand that, it would tell you very detailed information that you need to know. All right, it's just an overview. This is something that the developers will appreciate. Okay, so now let's move on. I'll take an example of a Shopify integration. It's really simple. You click that. It tells you that this page shows only the, that you can integrate this to your Shopify store. And then it would, when you click that, it will prompt you to log in to your Shopify. All right. And then once you have logged into your regular Shopify panel, you can click this part. You would need these credentials, your profile ID, and most of all, the client key. Your Shopify dashboard will ask you to enter these information. All right. Now, what's another interesting part here in this dashboard is you are now able to customize your own pay page. As you have seen in the video earlier that I've shown, you can upload your own logo, design the page, what the customer can see during Pay Now. It's something customizable now. So you can upload your logo, you can change the colors. How to do that? You simply click on Pay Page, upload the logo. I already have one right here. So you decide on the color. You can change these colors. Okay. Background. And if you're happy, if you want to see what it looks like, simply click preview. I'm not so sure if you have seen that, so I'm going to try to share that specific screen. Can someone please confirm if you are able to see the Pay Now page? Hi guys, hi PayTabs team.
Yeah, I see success squad, is it?
Perfect, yes, yeah. So yeah, this is just for demonstration purposes. So then you can, if you're happy, you can save that. If not, you can keep redesigning it. All right, so let me go back to the previous screen. All right, I hope you guys are able to see the right screen. Here we go. Now let's go back to the pay page. So once you're happy, simply save it. And then that's it, done. Now, so for developers, they're going to be asked in terms of the integration mapping. Just simply click that and it would tell you, the mapping that you may require. Key management, all of your API keys that I showed you earlier upon integrating to Shopify, it's right there. And then another important thing for you as a merchant, it's just a small change that you have to basically set up is the payment notification. So in here, you can configure customer email receipts if you would like your customer to receive the receipts. You can do that. We are using a third-party provider. One of my personal favorite is SendGrid. It's a third party. You can do that by creating a free SendGrid account. And then I could do an overview later. And then you can just simply generate an API using your SendGrid account. Again, I would repeat, it's a third party. You need to create a free account and then generate an API. Just plug the API right here. And then your email address, where would you like to be notified? If you have a designated email address, let's say payments@paytabs.com, for example, you can plug that in and simply update that. And you can do the same thing if, let me go back to developers. You can do the configuration. If you want to be notified of all the events that's happening in your e-store, here's how. So you basically, because I already have a setup notification right here, but if you don't have, you simply just add an IPN, and then it would give you these fields. You simply click the drop down, SendGrid, the API keys, the API key that you generated using SendGrid from the email address which you would like to be notified, or two. If you have different email addresses, that's okay. If you want to use the same email addresses, that's fine too. And then you want to be notified in terms of sales, in terms of authorization, when a transaction is captured, excuse me, when a transaction is void. So basically this tells you all the events that you would want to know. And then you simply add those, and then you're good to go. All right, so once you've saved it, this is how it would look like. There you go. Okay, SendGrid, we're done. All right, so here's the good part. How do you issue an invoice if you're using a regular pay page? So you simply go to Invoice panel. You create an invoice. I already have a pre-created invoice right here, so I'll just expand that. All right, so this is it. Once you have created an invoice already, you can either copy that link and send it to your customer, or you'll have an option to send them via SMS, via PDF. You can send them via email, the PDF version that you've just downloaded, or you can simply pay, edit, and of course, cancel or duplicate, or just simply view. Okay, so now let's create an invoice. It's really simple. Currencies, you can choose. Sometimes our merchants would have multiple currencies. So for testing purposes, I can assign AAD. Invoice type is standard and template. What's the difference between the two? Standard and template. Standard is just a one-time standard invoice that you can send. Or if you want to create a template for easy references and you can just keep duplicating it, that's okay too. I would suggest that you do that. It's going to be very useful and very efficient. For this one, I'll create a standard invoice, test webinar. Title, description, this is all up to you. Your customer reference, of course. Invoice reference, could be name, parent test. And then activation date, you can decide whether to put activation date and expiration. So if you want the invoice to be activated today immediately upon sending it, that's okay. If you want it to be expired within the month, that's fine too. SKU, this is your own inventory number. It's there for you to populate it. Description, unit price, I'd put 100. If you want 10 quantities, for example, it gets calculated automatically. If you want to put discount, you can either do a discount in terms of amount, or you can put a percentage. It's very adaptive. The dashboard will detect it. All right, so tax, you can either, similar to the discount, you can either do it by a percentage, or you can, oops, sorry. Yeah, clicking too fast. Just do it really quickly. Invoice reference, activation date today, 3rd and the 10th, for example, SKU, description, unit price, 1. This time I'll do 1, and I'm feeling generous today, so I'm going to do 50% off. 5% tax, and that would be the total. All right, so here you would, I know that we could improve the name here and probably indicate first and last name, but I would request you to pay attention to the first and last name of your customer, complete the information as much as possible. This would prevent errors. At the end of the day, it's good for your customer. So complete it, do it right from the first time. And then you decide whether there's a shipping details. If you know where to be shipped, where the shipping details is, you can just go ahead and do that. All right, I'm going to complete this. All right. NNN, it means number. I've had a few questions about this. It just means number. So you can put any random number right there. So now you have an option whether to cancel it, to save, or save and send. So for this time, I'm just going to save and send it. Okay. So it doesn't want to accept Bahrain. I'll change this to Dubai. No problem. Bye, save and send. And then done. So now, okay, granted the customer has already received the invoice and has paid for it. How would you know that if invoice has been paid for? In this icon right here, there's a tiny bit of credit card icon. This tells you that this particular invoice has been paid for. So when you click that, it would then take you to the transaction. Okay. So expand that. It's been paid for. This is the amount. What type of method? It's Visa. Of course, the cards are masked for security purposes. Country, I'm using a test, so it won't be populated. Authentication, customer details. You can even run a campaign if you would like, because you would be able to view the customer details right here. Shipping details, because I've filled it in, so it's there for you to see it. All right, so now I hope it's clear. I'm not seeing any chat, so I'm assuming all is well. All right, so now I will move on to creating a pay link. Now this is very interesting.
Sorry, Karen, to interrupt, but there is a question on Zoho. So maybe later on you can, I don't know if it's showing, but it's Zain has sent
from Zain.
Directly, yeah. Anyways, I'll leave it to you. You can control the flow. So thank you.
I will note it down. Thank you. All right. Okay, Zain, I will get back to you. All right, so what is the difference between invoice and PayLink? PayLink, we have to be trendy, right? So social media is such a big thing nowadays. Everyone is on their mobile phones, tablets, and what have not. So here you can simply create a PayLink. I will use a school, for example. School, they do have a registration fee, and you know the amount is fixed. So then you can create one single pay link, and hundreds of people will be able to pay by simply using that link. Rather than creating an invoice earlier and sending it to multiple people, to multiple customers, or to various customers. Here, to make it simple, you can create one pay link, and this pay link, once created, you will be able to post it in all of your social media platforms. You can send it to your customer via SMS, and you can also, this can be paid using the QR code. All right, so how to do that? So once you have created a pay link, it would look something like this. You can either share the link and pay for it. So I have recreated that one. We'll try and test and pay it shortly. But for now, I want to show you how to do it, how simple it is to create a pay link. So it could be registration fee, or it could be, if you're selling, let's say, a wonderful new release of shoes, it's right there, it's fixed price. So Their description, test, URL. So what should you put here? So basically, I would recommend that you put your URL, because once the customer hit payment, it would then take them back to your URL, to your page, to your e-store. Okay, so the amount, it could be fixed. Donation mode, we have enabled this for charity, because we also serve charitable institutions. They can decide whether there will be a minimum amount of donation and the maximum amount. So then the customer or the payee can decide, what amount to put as long as it doesn't go below this and it doesn't exceed the amount. So, but for now, I'm just going to turn it off. And then it would require shipping details. It's up to you. And then you can then enable PayLink. And this Open Graph, this is perfect for social media platforms. Okay, so registration. For example, discount. Registration fee, the picture that you would like to see. Open. And there is a minimum and maximum pixels or size that you can upload. And it would tell you if it's accepted, and simply save it. Okay, so now while it's saving, I'm just going to open a screen. I'm going to share with you a link. Open Graph. Okay, so now this tells me that I've uploaded a huge picture. I'm going to demonstrate a PayLink right here. Let me try to reshare my screen. All right, so are you guys able to see the PayLink? I hope so. So Karen, put in your name, test. By the way, guys, the test cards are available in your dashboard. I will show you after this where to find it. 12, 21, CVV, and then billing. Just double check if the billing information is filled in to avoid any potential errors. Shipping, billing. I didn't fill in the shipping, so that's okay. So, all right, so hit pay. And of course, the name. Pay now. Successful. All right, so it's time to view it from your dashboard. Let me try to share a different screen. All right, so here you go. This is a fresh transaction that I just paid. It gets credited immediately, and you can see it via the transactions. All right, hope that's clear. Okay, so another thing that I want to show you guys is the reports. All right, previously, reports are sent to you monthly or weekly, or whenever a payout is done. Here, you can decide when you want to receive your report. It could be daily, weekly, monthly, that's all up to you. And it's really simple. It's just basically creating a layout that you'd like. So I'm gonna add a new report layout. So these are the fields, the properties that you can choose from. You wanna see the previous transaction, merchant ID, you can decide what to see. So for this demonstration purposes, I'm just gonna select all, add all. And I'm gonna call it Feb test report. Add it. And once you have added the layout that you would like, you can simply then go ahead and set it. So if you want to enable daily, just simply enable it. What type of report you would like. So this one, Excel or CSV, it's there for you to decide. You can choose which one, and then you can decide what email address to dispatch it to, what layout, and then update. That's it. So you can receive the report. You can create a report for your marketing so that they can take care of their business. You can create a report for your finance. That's up to you. All right, so another thing that I just want to quickly show you while we're here is basically about the repeat billing. This is wonderful if you have a regular customer and you think that you would be sending them invoices regularly. You can basically choose this option. So it's just very simple. You create an agreement, you fill in the form. So I have here an agreement that I've already created. We can expand that. There you go. So which means agreement number this, the description, it tells me that, oh, I'm expecting 2 payments from this customer, this amount on the 1st of every month. And right now it's active. And this is the email address of the customer. When is this payment due? And what is the final payment if there is? Okay, and if you want to cancel it, you just simply cancel the agreement once it's no longer active. Okay, so, and then if it's something that has been completed, it would also tell you that the agreement has been fulfilled or completed. Okay. All right, so all of these wonderful things that I've just showed you, the most important question is, how do you get paid? Yeah, and what is the payout setup? So let me just try to share with you a screen and how to basically navigate to your accounts panel. Clean. Okay, 1964. Just give me one moment. Okay. All right, perfect. So now I'm sharing a different screen because the one that I was showing you earlier is just a test account and it's not a complete panel. So here, the only difference is that you would have the accounts panel wherein you will see the movements of your money or funds. Okay, so here it would tell you when you have multiple currencies enabled, you just simply expand that and go to that specific currency. Excuse me. And then here it would tell you the account entries, depending on your hold period. So generally speaking, the hold period is T+8 or T+7. It's between that period. So then it tells you that on this specific date, it's clubbed together. So which means the transactions, all of the transactions that took place during that pay, and so on and so forth. So closing balance, and if you would remember in your old dashboard, you would have the hold period, hold amount, and the available balance. So here, closing balance is equivalent to available balance. Then you will see that how much payout you are expecting and when. And then if you want to know further details, you can simply expand pending. And then it would tell you here, right here, I don't have any payout. I'm not expecting any payout. But it would tell you that, for example, a transaction took place today. And if I have a payout expected after 5 days, it would tell you the due dates here. All right, so what are the payouts set up at the moment? We do have 3 options that is assigned to each merchant. If you are under startup and growth plan, ultimately 90% or let's say 99% of our merchants in startup and growth plan are under a weekly payout, which happens every Monday. I hear a background. which happens every Monday. And then we have for enterprises, merchants that are having a volume of at least 100K in USD are under enterprises. And they initiate their own payout depending on whenever they prefer. So yeah, so we have a manual merchant generate, it's not manual actually, pardon me. It's merchant initiated payout because the merchant decides when. And then we have the automatic, which is every week, happens every Monday. And then we have a automatic monthly payout. So what's the difference? We didn't have this in PT1. So what do I mean by this? The merchant decides whether to club his or her payments monthly on a specific day of the month at a certain amount. So for example, I decide I want to be paid every first of the month, at least minimum of 100,000 AAD every month. So you can then define that and send it to customer care, and we can activate that for you if you're under enterprise. Okay, so I'm now gonna change the screen. My colleague, let me see if he's here. If we have questions on how Shopify is integrated, my colleague can show us. Otherwise, we can scroll through the question and answer, and I will now formally open the question and answer portion. Okay, give me 1 second. Let's go back to the dashboard. Okay, so now the exciting part. Zoho, let's answer Saint's question. Why isn't my Zoho Commerce not getting integrated with PT2? Okay, so here well, there are two elements in integrating your Zoho Commerce. You sign up. Zoho is our partner. We have a special integration with them. In some cases, if you were a merchant in PT1, we would just activate it for you by enabling proxy. But ultimately, Zoho still also needs to do some integration from their side as well. So once you're having trouble, we would gather the information from you, what issues you're having, and then we would liaise and facilitate the activation or the troubleshooting for you between PayTabs and Zoho. So Zain, I would suggest that you reach us out. I will type here, customer care at PayTabs. And my colleague has shared as well the response guideline a little earlier. We can repost it. So if you have any questions and you would like more details, please write us customercare@paytabs.com. We strive to get back to you within 24 hours. And sometimes there might be delays if it's weekend or if it's holidays, but as much as we can, we will get back to you at the soonest. All right. Transaction codes, I can see that it's also been posted here, which I have shared with you earlier. You can see here on the screen, D means declined, E is error, and P pending for refunds, and then hold. Sometimes there's auth and captured, so we authorized transaction. So you'll see the statuses basically right here in different colors. Okay. And knowledge base, so we are in the process of building our knowledge base, so you can also note it down. It's support.paytabs.com. Okay, so let me post that again. Everyone in the meeting, there you go. And you may reach us via customer care at paytabs.com. Any questions? If we don't have any questions, I may give the floor to our technical support who can show you how easy the configuration either via Shopify or WooCommerce. Do we have any merchants here with Shopify configuration or WooCommerce? Could you please write your answers in the comments section? Okay, Waji, would you like to take the floor? Sorry, Walid, would you like to take the floor and show them how to integrate Shopify quickly? It's just okay. We have one message. Yes. Okay. Walid, please go ahead. Shopify integration is really simple. Even I am not a tech person, but you can do the integration between 5 to 7 minutes. All right, Walid, over to you.
Sure, Kiran. So let me just share my screen. Can you see, guys?
Yes, Walid, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. Good evening, everybody. So we are just gonna check how we can just configure the Shopify integrations. Okay, so let me just log into my merchant portal. So as we can see, all the developers details here related to integration parts we can find over here in this section, and here we can see our pre-built-in integrations are available. So let's just choose for the Shopify integrations. This is the most easiest way to integrate with PayTabs. Okay, so for the installations, we just need to click this link, and this link will redirect you to the Shopify to choose your account. Okay. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Actually, my current account is just it's not working under the trial version. So I would request Veggie, can you please continue if you have a account with the Shopify?
Yeah, it's okay. No issue.
Please, thank you, Veggie.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Waji.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, I'll share my screen. As you can see, as Walid mentioned, the first we have to go to developer section, Shopify. So, then we have this link to install our plugin on the merchant's website. So when you click on it, this is a Shopify confirmation, your account and your stores on Shopify. In general, you will have only one store, but now for testing, we have 4 stores. You select the store you want our plugin to be installed in it. So let me choose this. After that, you got the final confirmation from Shopify. This is the plugin you are about to install, PayTabs UAE, inside your store. We have multiple Shopify plugins. This is for UAE merchant. And if you are on KSA, let me open my my merchant account on USA. Again, if I navigate Shopify, click install here, select my store, I will get another plugin, which is PayTabs KSA, which is dedicated for KSA merchants. If you are sure about that, then you click install payment provider, and this will install our plugin on your store. Then we have to configure our plugin. You have to configure PayTabs plugin. In this section, maybe you are on you are using our PT1 plugin, so you will the plugin will be listed here, the title of it, or maybe you don't have another yet a payment provider. So this section will be empty. You have to choose another payment provider. Search for PayTabs in the list of third-party payment providers, and as you can see, I have 4 payment providers. This is the PT1, the Egypt, UAE, and the KSA, which I have activated before. Let me activate my old plugin. Just to clarify things. Okay. As the first view, you will see your PT1 plugin, credit card payment provider. And to activate the KSA, choose another provider. And you will see our plugin for KSA merchant. You select it and you have to configure. I need the profile ID. This is the profile ID. And I need the client key. Oh, sorry, from here. Client key, if you click, you will navigate to the API keys. You just copy the client key. Then reactivate PayTabs. And make sure you don't check this. It's for test purpose only, and your account will be live, and you have a live account on Shopify and on PayTabs. So make sure it's unchecked. But because I'm using a test website, so I have to activate it. Activate it, and that's it. Now to make a test, let me open my shop catalog. Let me buy this ball. And this is the KSA plugin. I have 2, this for test purpose, so it will be listed here. But for your account, you will have only 1. Payment, and this is the payment page. I can use test cards, as Karen mentioned before. And it's done. I can see my payment here in the dashboard. That's all about Shopify. I hope it's clear. And as Karen said, it's very easy to install and configure. Thank you.
Thank you, Waji. All right, so it's configured between five because Waji is an expert, But for someone like me, I could probably do a configuration within 7 minutes. So I hope that's useful for you, IS. We can always share, of course, the instruction manual after the webinar. If there's no questions, we would conclude this webinar. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your time and happy transacting on PT2. We look forward to hearing from you. Bye now.